What are some of the best online co-op games on PS5? Well, let's find out. The realms of multiplayer have really opened the doors as to what is possible within games, but really what it boils down to is playing with your friends in a digital space. Hello everyone, it's Aidan here from Push Square, and today I'm breaking down 10 of the best online co-op games available on PS5, from cutesy platformers to intense survival experiences. I'm focusing on titles that really require you to play with your friends to make the most out of the experience, and I'm also looking towards games that have native PS5 versions, so no solely PS4 games here. But anyway, let's get into it. A Souls-like with guns is the pitch for Remnant 2, and I suppose it fits. This grueling third-person shooter is all about taking you to procedurally generated worlds which host grim yet gorgeously varied designs, like Bloodborne-esque towns or metallic sci-fi dungeons. There's plenty of big and challenging bosses in here too, and you'll hardly be able to keep up with the types of enemies that the game will throw your way. Killer concept aside, Remnant 2 is a really tight third-person shooter, which can be fun to play on its own, but the game has a real keen focus on co-op, where teams of 3 can take on the horrifying enemies within this blood-speckled multiverse. Deep Rock Galactic is a dwarven mining experience where teams of 4 will venture deep into alien planets to mine resources and survive hordes of aliens. This is a highly tactical and dynamic experience that becomes all the more hectic the further you delve into its cave systems. Deep Rock Galactic is technically a procedurally generated looter shooter where the loot is the minerals you are collecting. You'll have a target amount to hit, but of course aliens and bugs will stand in your way, and once you actually have all the minerals you need, you have to try and escape back to your ship, which is a challenge in itself. There's some excellent chaotic gameplay here, and I really like the lighting system in this too, where you rely on fire, crystals, and little throwable lights. Slaying zombies with friends is a concept that feels as old as gaming itself, but it's often hard to see past the glory days of Left 4 Dead. Whilst this game never really hits those nostalgic highs, World War Z is memorable for different reasons. It's got tight-knit gameplay, awesome globe-spanning levels, but most importantly, a metric ton of zombies. The swarm mechanic developed here manages to capture the true essence of that Brad Pitt action film and the book that it's based on, with literal hundreds of zombies spilling over each other towards you. Just unleashing on the hordes is endlessly satisfying, but also incredibly tense as defenses are overcome and bullets start to dry up. Team communication, especially in the harder difficulties, is of the utmost importance if you want to lock and load with a bunch of friends and get into some zombie killing. No Man's Sky is the gift that keeps on giving, and it's a gift worth sharing with your friends. Dipping back into this Goliath space experience is a supremely daunting task these days, with a multitude of systems from base building to galaxy-spanning campaigns. Thankfully though, you can link up with your space buddies to share the load of responsibility. No Man's Sky is definitely on the chiller side of this online co-op list, but it's nice to experience unique worlds together and build up your riches as one galaxy-conquering team. Maybe you like to move from one planet to the next, maybe you want to be space pirates, or maybe you just want to set up shop on a lovely non-toxic planet. There's a lot of role-playing involved here with No Man's Sky, but it can be a memorable experience when sharing it with friends. The Outlast Trials is one of those rare examples of a single-player franchise going multiplayer, and it actually works. In teams of 4, you'll endure a variety of puzzles whilst being hunted down by bloodthirsty maniacs, and it is so much fun. The game holds on to the core pillars of the Outlast series with indefensible run and hide gameplay, night vision via battery depleting cameras, and some outrageous gore at the hands of scary villains. Now I am a massive scaredy cat with these types of games, but I just have the most fun and I scream so damn much.
That sounds an awful lot like somebody's seen me.
Completely losing track of your team as someone with a drill puppet is hot in your heels is not a gaming experience I'm likely to forget anytime soon. There's a much deeper progression system here than I'd imagined too, and now with a roguelike mode to really test your mettle, this is a guaranteed laugh with mates. Destiny 2 is another title that can be tough to get into if you're a new light guardian or someone that just hasn't touched it in a while, but from the get you have some phenomenal first person shooting and gorgeous environments to explore. But Destiny is a game that admittedly really kicks into gear when you get closer to the end game, and that's where communicating with a team of guardians really comes into play. Taking on the legendary campaign or just digging into Nightfalls, you're going to need a balanced team and one that can keep their head on a swivel as an assortment assortment of colourful aliens come your way in increasingly more manic missions. Destiny is one of the best power fantasy shooters out there, but it also balances that power with vulnerability if you're not tactical and moving as a unit. Breaking down how we were going to approach a difficult situation has always been one of my favourite things when playing Destiny with my friends, and actually pulling it off was all the more euphoric because of it. Communication is a key part of most online co-op games here, but in this game, you're gonna be screaming at your teammates. The amount of untold stress that you will experience as you try to manage your very own kitchen and Overcooked all you can eat is truly unparalleled. But trust me, it's still a lot of fun. Balancing the responsibilities of chopping up vegetables, cooking meat, washing dishes, and combining all the right ingredients in increasingly daftly designed kitchens is quite the challenge, and there's plenty of variety in the obstacles, the locales, and the meals, especially since the all-you-can-eat edition rolls both Overcooked games into one package. You might need a quiet moment afterwards, but you always come away from a session on Overcooked all-you-can-eat with some funny new memories. Shock horror, I know, a former Xbox exclusive included in a best online co-op games list for PS5, but trust me, Sea of Thieves is truly excellent, and it's just a shame that it's taken us this long to get to play it. On paper, it's an MMO with pirate ships, piles of treasure, and plenty of mythical tales, but it's one that at its heart is a co-op game. Not only does the number of players you team up with dictate the size of the ship that you use, but it's such a fun team-based experience as someone steers while someone's keeping an eye out for enemies, someone's adjusting the sails, and maybe even someone's checking the map for navigation. There's a lovely sandbox nature to Sea of Thieves, and it doesn't really bog you down too much with difficulty levels or incessant challenges. It knows that the fun is getting out there in the open sea and trying to outmaneuver enemies with various naval plays. It's an exciting, a chill, a hilarious experience all within a single session, and to top it all off, it has the best looking water in a video game ever, in my opinion. It Takes Two was present in our couch co-op games list, but it remains a stellar online co-op experience for a couple of reasons. For one, the game plays just the same as it does in couch co-op with split screen and 2-player challenges. Secondly, because only one of you actually has to own the game to play together, although you both need PS Plus. It Takes Two is just such a dynamic experience as it moves through a massive collection of genres, from platformers to fighters to top-down dungeon crawlers. There's a playful story at its heart, and its miniature setting looks phenomenal across the whole campaign. I think it does drag on a little, but for its length it certainly manages to keep things fresh. I also find it to be a fantastic meeting point. Maybe you want to play with someone that doesn't typically play games or doesn't play the types of games that you do. Either way, this game has so much variety that it remains consistently engaging for both new and veteran gamers, which is a tough balance to pull off. The game that took the world by storm, and in our opinion some of the best fun that you can have online with friends on PS5. Helldivers 2 is a riotous, goopy and explosive affair where you'll take on hordes of giant bugs or killer robots in some of the most cinematic gameplay that you have ever seen. Helldivers' secret formula is making your gun-wielding, stratagem-throwing soldier just a mushy little human. You can be blown off your feet, you can have your limbs swiped clean off you, you can burn in acidic puddles. That makes communication absolutely key, and the game's emergent situations mean you're always having to make up new plans on the fly as those plans fall through and everything goes to shit. Having giant bile titans come at you, or maybe another dropship arrives with a new platoon of killer robots. It's just some of the funniest stuff in this game. It can be a wild, visceral experience on its own, even more so as you creep up the difficulty levels, but there is always a humorous tone running through it all that makes it an absolute blast. Thank you for checking out the video. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel while you're leaving a comment about your very own favourite online co-op game down below. Anyway, until next time, I've been Aaron, and this has been Push Square.